knowledge being spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Donnie Jones, she the one you wanna see. Donnie Jones live, this is where you wanna be. It's Donnie Jones live, Donnie Jones live. It's Donnie Jones live, Donnie Jones live. It's Donnie Jones live, Donnie Jones live.
Welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady and hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly. What it do? What it do? What's up, Miss Donnie?
Man, you know, I usually try to start off, and I know we're going to jump right into it. I usually try to start off with, you know, a little positive, what's going on with the kids. A little trip I'm getting ready to do, something silly that happened in the tree service. Because, you know, I am Donnie the Tree Lady, tree service in Atlanta.
Right.
But that's not what's on my mind, man.
What?
Yeah.
So I wonder, out of everything that's going on in the world right now, what is on your mind?
I'm so glad you would ask.
Involved in? Yes.
I wanted to talk real quick. Not that I'm trying to jump in too soon, but I wanted to talk to my bougie black folks.
Yeah, bougie black folks.
Bougie black folks.
Uh-oh.
Our upper scale, educated. We know better.
Wait, you going to start the show off like this?
Yeah, I'm starting off like this. Let me tell you why. Because I can be a little bougie, and you know that. I'm a little hood. I'm a little bougie. I'm a little bit of a hippie also, like all of that mixed in one. But I will say this. There are some of us, and I'm going to be very transparent with you, Marty. There are some of us in our community that, you know, we, of course, you know, the looting is wrong, you know, the rioting is wrong. We should protest, but we should do it in a much more refined way and all that kind of stuff. And some people in our community have not spoken up yet and not come out hard. And I'll tell you why. Because they were probably doing a little bit of what I may have been doing for a hot minute. And let me tell you what it is.
Okay.
In our brain, we shouldn't be looting. We shouldn't be rioting. However, you know, George had some, and guys, I'm talking about the George Floyd situation. That's hit our community hard and has sparked protests. You know, there's this ideology, and I've talked to people that feel this way, and I'm telling you from a transparent situation, I felt this way a little bit, and I checked myself. God checked my heart. God laid it on my heart to say this. Some of us that have done all right for ourselves, made a little money, built a business, got a good education, made it to the next phase, had, you know, mentors and teachers that spoke life into us and all this kind of stuff and helped us take it to the next level. There's a part of us, our community, that's like, well, you know, I don't agree with the looting and stuff, but we must understand that, you know, George had a bunch of issues. He had some problems, and, you know, there's some things that we should and shouldn't do in our society, and we got to do better as a people. And I want to tell those bougie black folks, including myself, to stop right there.
Oh, yeah.
Stop right there. And let me tell you why. Because you know why it hit me so hard yesterday, especially watching the funeral?
What was that? Talk to me.
George Floyd is somebody's son.
Yep.
Better yet, George Floyd is somebody's daddy, granddaddy. And you know who George Floyd reminds me of? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've been blessed and all that kind of stuff that I just talked about. But you know who George Floyd is? He's my brother.
Yeah.
That suffers from bipolar disorder, that has struggled with addiction. He's my uncle who died from cirrhosis of the liver, from years of alcoholism. And then he switched from alcohol to crack because, you know, the doctors told me he couldn't drink anymore. And instead of alcohol, I don't know the logic there. But anyway, y'all know family members like that. He's that relative, that sister of mine that, you know, regardless of the fact that we all grew up in the same household, for whatever reason, they went off on a different path. He's that granddad that died prematurely because he made some bad choices and got into a tough situation and the streets took him out. That's who George Floyd is to me. And the reason why that hits me so hard is because as much is I love those people in my family. And as much as I stand there and go, well, they should have did this and they shouldn't have did that. And we grew up in the same household. Why didn't they do that? This and the third. The fact of the matter is they're human beings. Right. And this isn't Joe. I don't want anybody trying to bring up his past, bring up what he been doing, what he did, or whatever the case may be. You know why? Because that's not what this is about. This is about justice. It's about the fact that there are people in our community that do not get allowed to make the same mistake that somebody in another community gets to make and still live. This is about treating people as human beings, regardless of their past, regardless of what they're doing right now, and understanding that we as Black people have got to start respecting each other, regardless of our education, regardless of where we come from, regardless of the mistakes we made. Yeah, you're right. We talk on the show about not having toxic people and stuff in our life and all that kind of stuff, and I still stand by that. But the love, the compassion, and the ability to respect humanity and our humanness has got to start now.
Right.
We've got to stop.
What do you
stop
think?
Doing that.
What do you think the change should be? I'm saying because people can march right now and say we want change, but exactly what change is that? What does that look like?
We've got. I mean, it's and that's another thing. It's not just one thing. It's a multitude of things. Mm-hmm. We do have to do all the stuff that the bougie Black folks say, which is get education. We do got to do all of that stuff. But we also got to start respecting human life. We've got to start speaking out at every single instance when we see injustice. We've got to start voting in masses. Because when we vote collectively, our voices are heard. There's a lot of people, once again, that are in the protest. Some of them are not registered to vote. They're still human and they should not be disrespected. So that piece we can say. But we also need to address the fact that we do have to vote. We do have to take advantage of the opportunities, the few opportunities that there are available in our society. We do have to start reading the books. We do have to get our education, all those things. We have to reach back and help one another. We have to be able to tap a young man on the shoulder if he's going in the wrong direction and at least try to help him when we can and not just say, well, not in my house. You know, we've got to get back to us honestly being a village. And as far as what is the word? Assessing or dealing with police brutality, we got to start doing background checks on these guys before they get their badge. And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm glad you asked me this because I'm asking young people to do this. And I'm begging young people to do this. Actually, I'm begging all people to do this. If you hear, see, or know of anybody in uniform that has displayed any kind of racist behavior, I don't care if it's, you know, a relative in your home. I don't care if it's your uncle. I don't care if it's somebody at your church. If they have displayed racist behavior, it needs to be reported. If you report it to the police department and they don't do anything, actually report it to the police department and put it out on social media.
Well, don't put it out on social media.
Yes, you should.
Wait. Because here's the thing, Dottie. You don't want to start something that it's like everybody needs to have their trial in court.
Right.
And what you might see is racist might not be racist from somebody else.
But Marty,
I'm saying before we start ringing the bell, because somebody might say that you said, you know, I don't know, that you bumped into them and looked at them the wrong way or something like that. And they say, well, Dinah the Tree Lady, she's racist. I need to go online and you know, let everybody know that Dinah the Tree Lady is racist. No, you know, not in that aspect of saying sometimes. So what do you think? Okay, but Marty, you know that in certain households and in certain communities, people say racist stuff and they got I mean, it doesn't matter if you got a badge on or not, but if you got a badge on and you are a racist, you automatically are going to do certain things that jeopardize another man or woman's life. You're going to react differently. You're going to be quick to pull the trigger. You're going to be quicker to slam them up against the wall. But you already have this precondition. Here's my argument though. Okay. There is racism out there. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's blatant racism.
That's what I'm talking about.
There is other racism that some people don't even know and really understand that that's a racist situation or racist prejudice, you know, and if somebody else might see that and say, you know what, that guy is racist, you know, because he called the girl this name, or he said something, you know, inappropriately, and for me that felt racist, so I'm going to report him. Not
Marty, we got to start somewhere. We're going to make some mistakes in calling people out. There might be, somebody might call me out and say, well, she said something racist. I got to address it. I got to defend myself and say, no, what I meant was this, that, and third. So if you're at home and you know your dad is on the police department, your uncle's on the police department, your preacher, your volunteer for the boys club is on the police department, and he says to a young man walking down the street, or he turns to you and goes, oh, look at that little N-word or whatever, or call somebody, a coon or whatever the word is, or treat somebody disrespectfully, start putting it out there. You know what? And I'm not talking about something new, Marty. Young people are already doing this now. If you go online, there's young people calling out their parents, calling out their uncles, calling out their brothers, reaching out to those people's jobs and getting together with family members saying this is no longer tolerated. We can't be nice about this anymore. I don't want to be nice about it anymore.
You know what? If you got a thought about this, hit us up 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. Because I understand what you're saying, Donnie.
Right.
And I understand, like, if there is someone that that's a police officer that is really blatantly racist.
Blatantly racist.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about.
But the thing is, here's the thing. Most of these people are not going to try to be blatantly racist.
Marty.
I'm saying the average, I'm saying, like, you know what? That opens up a whole nother can of worms. If you got a comment, hit us up 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. Let's take a quick break. Come back on the other side, and then we'll talk all about, talk through.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Right. You're listening to Donnie Jones with Donnie Jones,
and Marty McFly.
Yep. We'll be right back.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live, where it is hot in here, hanging out with my main man.
See, I'm Marty McFly with Donnie Jones, and see, the thing that I'm concerned about is, a friend of mine was telling me earlier this week, okay, that they're a friend of theirs at school. All right, actually my niece. I don't want to, put out anybody's name like that, but my niece, she was saying that, okay, a friend of hers at school, they called, I guess she videotaped her father, saying some things about George.
Yes,
that's racist. All right, that was really racist. Now it blows up. The school finds out about it. All right. Now then, school is getting involved in it.
Yeah.
My thing is this: what's going to be the repercussions of this?
Now, here's the thing, though. I don't know what the school can do, but the fact that the school got involved, I think, is very interesting. My thinking is, in that particular situation, it may get back to his job, and it may affect his job, especially if he works around people of color.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe it'll also correct his behavior and open up a conversation.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If it's done the right way, because it's like this. Now, if that person that, that whistleblower in a sense,
right?
She told that about her dad. Right. Her dad loses his job.
You do know that that's trending now. That's what these little white teenagers are doing.
Wait, but hear me out. Her dad loses his job now.
Okay.
All right. That affects her life now too.
Yes, it does. She's gonna be all right.
Just saying like this. Can we have a conversation about this versus let me tear down what you have because you said something?
But Marty, when does it stop?
Do you see what I'm saying? At least let's have a conversation about this now, because if people can start going back in my past, or if somebody goes back in your past, or anybody's past, and starts
this wasn't the past, Marty. This wasn't the past.
What
you're saying that she recorded them talking about George Floyd, which means this is recent.
Well, okay, recent, of him saying his views about George
A man
Floyd,
that died.
a man that died, right? You know, if he has his personal viewpoints about it, okay.
Right.
If it is something that, out of all the stuff that's going on in society, okay,
Right.
he doesn't see the reason why, you know, it's so important to have that why people are upset about this.
Right.
It's time to have these let's have some conversations.
Yes, but people can't have the conversations until they know they're wrong. Perfect example. There's a gentleman that, and I won't call him out by name because
Right.
he's changed, but he has said some things and has some viewpoints that to me are racist, but he didn't think that they were racist. Okay. So I overheard him saying something to someone else. And because we were in the same vicinity, and it would deal with politics, and because we were in the same vicinity, I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What did you say? And he repeated it. And I was like, do you understand how racist that is? And he was like, no, that's not racist. I'm just saying, you know, people need to get up and do this and pull their pants up and,
Right.
and then they need to. And so I explained to him how offensive that was. And he went into some other things about our community that he doesn't fully understand why things are the way they are. And we had we wound up having a 2-hour dialogue. Like I wound up changing part of my day just to sit and talk with this gentleman. Do you know, to this day, now that happened a year ago, to this day, at least once or twice a month, me and this gentleman talk a little bit. And he said to me, this happened last week. He said to me, Donnie, I got to tell you, you have made me look at things a whole lot differently that I never, this guy's in his 60s. He said, 60s. He said, I never thought about it that way. And he said, thank you for talking to me about this stuff. He goes, because I honestly didn't know. He goes, now, you know, you've heard this term. I honestly didn't feel like I had a racist bone in my body.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying. Sometimes people, they don't even realize that they are racist. They don't realize that the words that they're saying are racist. They don't feel like they're racist at all.
Right. But I was very vocal. I was very vocal about how distasteful what he said was. So what I'm saying is that if you're in a household and maybe you've had those conversations where you've told somebody, hey man, that's racist, that's not cool, and the person is not willing to change, it may take a camera. It may take a social media post. It may take being called out by the head of school to say, or the principal, or whatever the situation was in that situation. It may have them reaching out to that parent and going, wait a minute, we do not accept that type of language and behavior in our school. And
okay, wait,
your daughter brought
let me wait. But before we go too far, if that's someone's opinion, okay. Now they're not. Just hear me out, and they're not inflicting any racial
Marty,
bias on people. Wait. What can you do as a school? You can't kick their child out of the school.
No, you
because their
can't.
father is racist.
No, you can't. But you can have a conversation.
You can't have a conversation, and if they still don't believe that they are racist or what the way they believe is wrong,
but maybe some person of authority that speaks to this father can say, listen, we saw the video, this type of behavior this type of language, is antithesis to what we believe in at this school.
Okay. And the father is not going to the school.
No, but the kid is.
Right. So what are you doing if the father?
Okay, Mark.
What I'm saying, what is the school supposed to do? Are they going to kick the student out because their father believes a certain kind of way?
No, they're not. But the fact that they're now having a conversation.
Right. They're having a conversation, and you're like, well, our school doesn't accept that kind of language.
Okay, Marty, there were some kids at a private school in Atlanta.
Right.
That were at a party, which had nothing to do with the school. Right. And they were playing some type of game where it involved some cups. It was on the news, actually, involved some cups or something. And it was kind of anti-Semitic or whatever. And these kids were doing this game it was like something with anti-Semitism. It got back to the school. Okay. Uh-huh. The kids were expelled from school because of that, because they have a code of conduct that transcends the school.
Hold on. Were they playing the game at the school?
No, they were at a private party.
They were at a private party.
Yes, and got
Was the private party funded by the school or something?
Nope, but they have
Was it like the cheerleaders' private party or something like that?
It was actually some of the guys from the football team.
Okay, so was the football team, was it an organized, wait, time out. Was it a football team's organized event and they would have
no, it was at a dude's house. No. They had, when you go to private school, you sign a code of conduct pledge. And that code of conduct, once you sign that paper, it transcends any like that, oh, well, it wasn't on campus. It applies to the internet. It applies to campus. It applies to everything.
Now, a code of conduct, I can see, getting in fights and stuff like that in the streets. But now, you're going to say expelled because I played a game, a board game?
But it was anti-Semitic. Like they were chanting anti-Semitic things. Like I guess you got the coin into the cup or you knocked the cup over or something.
And now that one sounds far. I need to find some more. You got to give me some more information.
I will get you some information on that because
that one sounds like one of those. Like I don't know, is something else in there? Because I'm saying to say that. Okay, me and a friend of mine got together and we played a board game.
It was in the news.
Yeah, that's why I say it has to be something more in that because I'm saying if me and my friends
were playing a game and using anti-Semitic language.
Right. You got to pull that up because there has to be something else in there. I'm saying, and just like you're saying, even
Marty, here's the thing though, Marty, you're getting off task. All I'm saying is that we have got to, you asked, what can we do? We can start calling out racist behavior and putting it out there. Just, what did Reverend Sharpton say? You know what? You turn the light on, you know where the roaches are. And it's time to turn the light on the roaches. Mm-hmm. I don't care who they are. If you do anti-Semitic behavior or racist behavior towards people of color or anybody, racist, homophobic, whatever.
Right. I'm saying, and that's blacks alike. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to hold ourselves accountable.
Are you still? Oh my
God! What?
No, Marty. I am not talking about our people. I am talking about racist behavior from people in authority. Okay, I do want to call out racist behavior anyway, but that's not what you're bringing up. Is not even the point.
I'm saying racism.
Not
period.
The point.
Racism. Period. Needs to be dead. That's what I'm saying. It's not just one sided. That's all.
Okay.
It's racism. Period.
I agree with you. Racism in all forms should be. But you know what you sound like right now? You sound like when they say all lives matter. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about if you know of a person on the police force that displays racist behavior, let's start calling it out because they are putting people's lives in danger.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Okay. So that's one thing.
Anybody on the police force that has racist behavior, call it out.
Call it out. And then the next thing,
call it out.
Background. The next
anybody
thing
with racist behavior, call it out. What? I'm just saying.
And then going back to, aren't we talking about police brutality, Marty? I almost texted you, dude, yesterday. I almost texted you something. I was trying to text Morgan.
Don't do that.
That would have been a mistake. So anywho.
Don't send me the wrong text. My wife, I can't explain certain things. I got in trouble the other day at just the dollar store. And I wasn't even doing that. The lady spoke to me.
What happened?
My wife was like down on I was waiting in line, and the cash register, being the cash clerk, the register clerk, just saw me. I had my mask on and everything. She's like, why are you looking so mad, sir? I thought we were friends. I thought you was happy guy. And I'm like, just whatever. My wife said he is happy, but he's married. And she just came out of nowhere, I ain't trying to flirt with you. I'm just making sure. Anyway, look, if y'all got a comment, hit us up at 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. Let us know what you think about, the whole racism thing and calling people out or,
Yes, we got to start calling them out. We got to start
let us know your thoughts about that, if you agree with my side or not. But anyway, we'll be right back, all right? You're listening to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones. and Marty.
And Marty.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live.
Hey, it's Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones and Marty McFly. And it is getting hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Because Marty think it's okay for cops to be racist.
You see, that's how people do. That's how people do. When I said, you see anybody.
Because you're saying if they're racist at home, it shouldn't matter. That's where it starts.
Say that.
Marty.
I didn't even say that. Don't try to twist the words. I didn't say if they at home and they're racist, it shouldn't matter. I didn't say that. You just said if anybody even smell like they racist, you need to report it, put it on social media, blow them up, and get them fired and everything.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, pump your brakes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got to get them fired.
Marty,
at least,
the young folks. The time is now. We have zero tolerance for racism.
Okay. See,
zero.
Here's the thing.
I'm with the young people.
The reverse of that is you see two people in a car. You just assume that they're part of the riot, and you yank them out. You shock them, and you tase.
No,
them.
you can't assume. They got to actually display.
But that's the same thing that I'm saying. Is you need to do a little bit due diligence before you just assume those two teenagers, those two college students that were stuck in traffic. That
when I was a kid,
out,
dude.
What?
When I was a kid. Okay.
When you was a kid. Oh, here we go.
When I was a kid.
Anybody got some violins?
When I was a kid, my dad was he is in the Nation of Islam. Yeah. And there was a lot of horrible things that he said about white people that is not true.
Well, we gonna call him in, put him on social media.
If it was back then, I would, because I was that type of girl. I used to call my dad out on stuff all the time. And then actually, once we moved to a neighborhood, and as kids, me and my sisters and brothers started having friends of different races because of the neighborhood that my dad moved us into, trying to get us a better education. My dad started to soften his views and became very friendly with white people and started and stopped saying a lot of the racist stuff that he used to say.
Right.
So he would call out racism when he see it, meaning, if he saw something that was injustice, but he didn't put it on all white people. He stopped doing that. It was, we were taught that white peoples were pigs and devils. Like they were all devils, and they were the offspring of pigs and dogs. That's what we were taught. We were literally taught that. And I thought that, do you understand? And I'll try to be sensitive about this. I was taught that they had tails. They had little piglet tails at the base of their back.
Stuff like that you just got to denounce. That's.
And I found out personally that they didn't. I was like, oh, they don't have tails.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna leave alone. But yeah, certain things like that, stuff like that, you just got to make sure that you kind of stomp that stuff out because
you stomp it out.
Needed nowhere.
Right.
That's not needed nowhere. That in a sense puts the pin on them on the other side. That makes us more of the enemy too.
Right. But what I'm saying is that now we're not playing. We're not waiting. We're not gonna, be nice about it. If I'm in a store, this happened at Macy's 2 years ago. I was at a store and there was a white guy behind the counter that was checking out a Latino family, and the father did not speak English and the daughter did, but the daughter was kind of quiet and she was translating for her dad, and the gentleman became very rude and disrespectful to the older Latino gentleman. And I stepped up, and everybody, it was like 8-9 people in line, because it was like during the Christmas season. And so nobody was saying anything. And he was just so disrespectful in his tone, the way he was talking to the guy. And I stepped out of line and I stood next to the guy. I said, you will not talk to him like that with me standing here. You will not talk to him like that. I was like, he's doing a transaction just like everybody else in this line. And I don't know what your problem is with this gentleman, but you will not talk to him like that while I'm standing here. You will service him and you will give him the respect that he deserves. And then I stood there and just kind of looked at the dude, and he started ringing him up and changed his tone of voice. So change happens when we step up to the plate and make it happen. We've got to start speaking up.
A World Star.
I didn't think to put it silly.
Yeah, that's one of those moments.
But you know what?
You had to step up.
But going back to my dad, like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm not cool with him, but this is one of my vivid memories. My dad used to take us to the lake. And one of the first times that he took us to the lake, we were down there playing on the beach part of the lake. And these guys started calling us the N-word, not realizing that my dad was in the picnic area where they were. Uh-huh. And my dad confronted the people. Was like, hey, man, those are my kids. And I guess the guy was drunk and started getting belligerent with my dad. My dad knocked the guy over the picnic bench, physically punched him and knocked him over the picnic bench. Here's the crazy thing. The guy got up, and you would think that this would cause a big fight. My dad walks back over to where we were picnicking, called us because he was, just obviously upset and getting ready to leave. Do you know that guy and his friend came over to our table and apologized and said they didn't mean any harm, that they play like that all the time. They didn't think it was a big deal. They play like that all the time. Uh-huh. And this is back in the 70s.
Yeah, you got some interesting stories, Donnie.
Not interesting, facts.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And I'm not even gonna say that's something that you promote or not promote, that even over there that is one of those things that I couldn't say in the pulpit, but I can understand. Because that's a situation that in a sense of kind of like people's stands of what's going on right now, where you have the private, meaning the peaceful protest, and you have the people that are trying to be violent.
Yes.
And it's like some people are I go with peaceful. All day.
No, I'm going with peaceful too. But we also got to remember that things happen for a reason. And I think we need both. I think I said this in a post that I did a few days ago. Martin needed Malcolm. Martin Luther King needed Malcolm X, and Malcolm X needed both Martin. I think both sides of the aisle were needed. Uh-huh. And I think that's important to acknowledge, because the people that brought us over here, we talk about being peaceful and stuff like that, which we should be, but they used violence to further their cause, to enslave us. They used violence. And I don't want to use violence to get peace and to get justice, but I'm not above it if that's what it takes. Yep, you heard me say it.
Okay, well, I'm like the Pope. We just need to pray. We need to discuss. We need to talk. We need more dialect. We need more understanding.
Did you hear me say? I said I'm not opposed to violence if that's what it takes. Did you hear that part?
No, I know you. Yeah. You ready to fight first?
I am not ready to fight first.
Fight with your fist. You speak that kind of language, I will put my paws on you.
But going back, you were making a point earlier about Malcolm and Martin, and I cut you off before we were going to break. What were you going to say?
I don't know what I was about to say about Malcolm and Martin. I've said that several times, though, that you needed both of them. Yeah. That you have the both sides, right. Because being peaceful I always see it as, it's civil. But then sometimes you just got to act a fool when you really want some change. Right.
I mean, sometimes you do. Or sometimes you got to put the fear of God in people, meaning, okay, we're going to be peaceful right now. However, if things don't change, we have to do what we have to do.
We got to make a.
In other words, you guys. In other words, I'm not trying to use the same tactics that they used with us, but put it like this: their whole thing, and maybe this is how they think. Their whole thing was when they were enslaving us, they would use one, slave. They would torture and beat one slave that got it a little out of hand, and as a warning to the other slaves.
That'd be an example for everybody else.
Exactly, to be an example. So if we need to do that, not asking. I am not promoting violence in any way, shape, or form. However,
don't even go that route. I ain't even gonna let you go that route. Nope.
But I'm trying to say
no.
I'm
we ain't gonna try to volunteer one, but if you just
No,
whoop
I'm not-
one of them,
no.
everybody
That's
else
not
will see that.
Marty, that's not what
If you
I'm trying to
just took
say.
one of them little officers in the middle of the square
No,
and whooped your little behind, no, we ain't even gonna promote that. Look, If you
No,
got a comment, hit us up 1-888-349 Donnie. That's 1-888-349 DONI. You ain't promoting that on nope.
I'm not promoting it. What I'm saying.
How you gonna make that example?
Okay.
Well, you know what they did in slavery. They took one of them
But that's
out
what
there
they
in
did. So
front.
maybe that's how they think. So what I'm saying is not that exact example. What I'm saying is if we will peacefully protest and we will peacefully ask for change, we will peacefully ask for change. We will show up at the polls. We will do what we're supposed to do and do our part. However, if you refuse to change things, who knows?
You try to grab one little jokes, put them in the middle of Times Square, and no. We still gonna have to work on other things. I'm saying just because delayed does not mean denied.
Delayed does not mean denied.
Just because it takes a while for change to happen.
But going back to what, and by the way, I think Al Sharpton did a great job. And y'all know I've had my opinions about this brother, but Al Sharpton did a great job yesterday.
I'm glad he took that mask off because he was looking a little hurt. If you saw that thing in the video before, he had a little mask on.
Too soon, Marty. He looked like
a little crip.
Too soon.
Like, what is that little? All you saw was a little white coming out. Just like
too soon.
I can say, get off my neck, brother. It looked like his little neck broke.
Marty, you can't do this, man.
I know it's too soon.
You gonna get
it. Still, I'm glad you took that look because I was looking on CNN like, what is that walking around with a mask on?
I just can't.
Great. Anyway, if y'all got a comment, hit us up 1-888-349.
I had a comment.
888-349 DONI. We'll be right back.
You ain't right.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Mardy Mcfly.
Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live.
Welcome back to the Donnie Jones Live show with Donnie Jones and
Mardy Mcfly. Mardy Mcfly. Yep.
You gonna start rapping?
No, not today. Not today. Donnie, it is crazy right now. It's almost like the world is on fire. Especially you looking at CNN, and I am wondering. Well, for one, I'm glad that all the officers have been arrested.
Yes.
But now I'm wondering, when does the protest stop?
That's a good question. I was listening to Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker, pastor. Okay. And he was encouraging people to keep this going for as long as possible. And he talked about the fact that back when Martin Luther King in their day, that they protested for 381 days for over a year.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I don't know if we got that kind of stuff. Like, we made out of different stuff than they was made of back then. So I don't know if we got 381 days of protest in our system. Well, but I think we need to protest until things change. But I think the biggest thing is we need to get that orange dude out of office, and we need to vote. And you guys know how I feel about the choice that we have right now, but we need to vote. We just need to bite the bullet and just, get the orange dude out, period. That's where we're at, so that's all I'm saying. Bite the bullet, vote. Yeah. Do what you need to do.
For one, I say we got to definitely get 45 guy out.
Marty.
Yeah. You got to get 45 guy out. You got to get him out of office. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, make sure you get him out.
Okay.
Number three, make sure that we get him.
I love it.
And everything else we kind of can work out. But I think getting us started back, on America back on the right track is the first step, is getting him out of there.
That's true. But even if he doesn't get out, and there's a possibility he doesn't get out, we still have to do something. And once again, you know, we try to be progressive on our show and actually give solutions and not just rhetoric and talk. So I would like to hear from you what else we can do. And then I'll throw some things in there too.
Yeah. What do you think about his little photo shoot last week? You know, that he, and I still don't understand the purpose of it really, you know, just.
It doesn't. It makes it. Yes, it does. Okay. And this is what I'm trying to explain to people when it comes to 45. He's a businessman and he is a marketing genius. Regardless of what you think about him, the man got what he wanted, whether he got it legally, illegally, whatever. Of course, we would prefer legally. But he is a marketing genius. Even if he didn't win the popular vote, he still found a way to get millions of people to vote for him. Now, let's go back to this thing with what he did last week. He's not marketing to you. He's not marketing to me. He's marketing to his base. His base, whether they're educated, uneducated, you know, whatever they are, to them, when he stands there with that Bible turned upside down, right side up, whatever it was, all they see is a Bible. All they see is a white man standing in front of a church, and they don't hear his rhetoric. They don't hear anything. All they do is stand in line behind him because they feel like he's saying what they want to hear. He's good at marketing. So he's marketing to the base that will get him reelected. He's not even, there's nothing you can say to 45 to get him off course because he knows the road that he's going down. He's not stupid. He's not a good person, but he's not stupid. But we are going to lose the game by standing up talking about all the crazy stuff he does because he knows what he's doing. We've got to start knowing what we are doing. He knows who he's marketing to. He knows what he has to do to keep their attention. He doesn't even care about all the noise around him. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Regardless of how stupid it looks to us, he's doing exactly what he needs to do to keep his target audience engaged. And we're losing the battle because we're busy talking about how crazy the stupid stuff that he is doing. When we don't even get, has nothing to do with him trying to make a point. It has something to do with him marketing. And so my thing is going back to what do we need to do? We need to focus on what we do best. We need to focus on our needs as a society. We need to get our message straight so we can inspire and encourage young people to vote. We need to get involved with our local elections, and we need to start holding each other accountable to do better.
I want to ask you a question now.
Sure.
So as an entrepreneur, what can you learn from him?
Woo! I hate to admit it, and I'm just going to be real with you all. Before all of this stuff went down with the election, everything in 2016, I was actually a fan of his. I got to admit it. I was. Okay. Before he started running for office and before I started hearing what was coming out of his mouth and before I saw how much of a racist he was, I mean, I knew he had a little race problem or whatever because back in the 70s and 80s with his housing, but he, you know, started doing his, what was that show? The Apprentice show. And I was really into that kind of stuff and listening to him talk about business or whatever. So as a business person, what I've learned from watching him is to stay focused, stay on message, do not change your message, keep your audience engaged, and damn whatever, can I say that word? I'm sorry. Darn whatever other people think. He doesn't care what other people think around him. People think that he does, but he doesn't. All he cares about is what his base thinks. You know, and yes, he has a fragile ego, and yes, he's narcissistic and all that kind of stuff, but he also knows how to utilize whatever brain he has to be able to target his audience and market to them. So that's one of the things that I've learned is targeting my audience. Like I'm like on my social media and stuff, I'm more comfortable now with the fact that not everybody's going to like me. You know, I'm too loud for some people. I'm too, you know, I speak too proper for some people and I speak not proper enough for others. And you know, they don't like the fact that my kids are biracial, or they might not like the fact that, you know, whatever they might not like the fact I got locks and maybe my hair look nappy or whatever. I've gotten to the point where I realize that's not my problem. That's their problem. I have to stay on task. So as a business person, I've learned a lot about marketing from him and branding. He doesn't change his brand. He doesn't change his marketing, and he embraces his ignorance. Well, it's not ignorance because he's doing it on purpose. He is not self-conscious about his flaws, and he actually uses his flaws to market to his target audience. Now, that does not mean that what I'm saying to him, about him is good. That doesn't mean that his qualities are good, but we can learn and utilize those qualities that he does have, but use it in a more positive way to create positive change. So unfortunately, that's what I've learned from him.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's interesting. You can learn a lot from the people that you don't like.
There you go.
And I just, I learned if I had to say, if I learned anything from him, is in a sense, you ain't gotta be right or wrong. Just keep talking about it.
What did they say? You tell a lot over and over again. Eventually, people will believe it. That's what he's done. That's what he's done to a large portion of our not our community, but actually 15% of our men, 8% of our women voted for him in his last election. I don't even want to talk about that. But for his audience, he's repeated lies so long, they believe him. And he's also tapped into their fears. That's another thing. He's tapped into their fears. So he tells them what he needs to tell them to address their undercover racism and fears, and they vote for him, and they support him because he knows how to make them feel good, unfortunately, and stimulate their emotions. He's very good at stimulating emotions. And unfortunately, people are emotional creatures.
Yeah.
So, it isn't right what he's doing, and it's not right how he's doing it. But I mean, this is the same dude that studied Hitler. The dude studied Hitler.
Do you think he actually studied Hitler, or he just kind of maybe saw a movie about him? Because I don't think he's a real studying type person. Just
Marty, that's the problem that people have with him. They think he doesn't study. He does study. He studied his whole life how to manipulate people and how media works. He knows how to get attention. He's known how to get attention since he was a young kid. He learned from his dad. And one of his first books that he says he actually read, and I believe him, is Mein Kampf, which is the Adolf Hitler book. This dude said he read that. He's very proud of his German background and all this kind of stuff. He's diabolical, and he's a sick person. But I've got people in my family that are mentally ill.
Right.
But at 19, 20, and 21 years old, they were making six figures a year because they were smart enough to know how to do marketing and promotions and how to build a business at a very young age. Actually, I think he was like 17, 18, making six figures a year. But he let his stuff go over the edge. My relative that I'm talking about, he didn't get the help that he needed and have people around him. Like 45 has always had people around him that when he starts going off the edges, they know how to pull him out of the spotlight for a while until he kind of gets stable again. And then he goes out and does what he does, which is acquiring real estate, licensing his name. The dude has built an empire because he's not stupid. It's just that he's just not nice, but he's created jobs for people. That doesn't excuse what he's done, but he knows what he's doing. And we can learn from that and do something positive with what we learn from him. So,
you know what? On that note, Donnie, usually we would end with an inspirational thought or inspirational, motivational thing or something.
I think we should, because he's not inspirational. He's a sick person that's running our country. But you asked me what I've learned and what we can learn from him. And what I just said is the truth. But we're so busy talking about how horrible he is that we're not focusing on what we can do to win against him and to learn lessons from what he's doing, but do what we want to do in a positive way. So
I'll say like this as a wrap up, as a motivational, just a nice thought to wrap up with. Something to think about is the best way for you to defeat your enemy is to make him your friend. So let's show on that for this week. How about that? All right.
So that's all right. Wait a minute. Are you saying we got to make him our friend?
Well,
Marty, come on.
Anyway, look, it's been a great show, Donnie. Much love to you. I will talk to you next week. If y'all got a thought, still hit us up at 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. Hit us up on social media and all the other kind of good stuff.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go Jones Live, DONI, JONES on YouTube. And you know what? If you go to Doni Jones Live, Doni, Jones, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, I will give you a free copy of my book, From Failure to Fabulous.
You still got copies of that?
It's sold out. The copies that I had already sold out, but I just got another shipment in day before yesterday.
Cool. All right. Much love. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you. Bye-bye.
It's Doni Jones Live.